Why you crying, boy?
Joe looked up into the face of a thin, dark-skinned girl, maybe 4 or 5 years older than he was. She was eyeing him quizzically through the grasses, her eyes deep brown under a frizz of wild hair, forced into control under a floral headscarf. He didn't want to talk to people, so he screwed up his face and said, "I'm sick. Stay away from me and you'll be fine."
You don't look sick,
said the girl.
"It's invisible," he replied, wiping his eyes. "You can't see it from the outside. It makes me different, and different scares people."
He stared at her, trying to will her away. She wore a plain black dress, white apron, and carried a brightly coloured cloth bag slung over her shoulder.
What's your tale, Nightingale? You up from the Crescent City?
"Yeah, I'm visiting from England. Who are you?"
asked Joe. The girl's face lit up, showing a vast array of brilliant white teeth.
Why, I am Evangeline. Delighted to make your acquaintance.
Stepping forward, she extended her hand to Joe. The boy paused for a second, then took it, and they shook. He couldn't help noticing that her feet were bare, and she carried her shoes with the laces tied together around her neck.
"And I'm Joe. Now leave me alone," he said, moodily.
Why, ain't you in a lordly funk? You know, when my mommy sees me down that great and deep well of pity, do you know what she says? She says, "You gonna get bitter, or are you gonna get better?"
The beaming smile got more serious.
So, what you gonna do? Sit smaller and cry louder, or stand taller and sing prouder?
Evangeline laughed at her own joke, and the sound was just so infectious that Joe smiled too.
Well, that's a whole lot better,
she said, and offered her hand again, helping him to his feet.
I saw you running from the house,
she said, looking him up and down.
"What house?"
That house. The only one you would ever be running from.
Joe dropped his gaze and said nothing.
You shouldn't be messing around in there. Is that...
"What?"
he snapped.
Is that why you're carrying a weapon?
"I've never met a girl who asked so many questions."
And I ain't never met a boy who carried a sword before,
she shot right back.
Nor some big old book.
There was something about her manner that made him trust Evangeline, even though his mind was flashing rule number 4, don't make friends.
"Look, Evangeline, I need to get back to where I came from. And to do that, I have to find someone to read my palm. Do you know where my moon line is?"
Evangeline shook her head.
But there is a palmistry hand,
she started.
"Not anymore," Joe said morosely.
The girl slitted her eyes.
That old thing's been stuck up on that shelf ever since I've been around. How can that help you home?
Joe heard the suspicion in Evangeline's words, but really had no way to answer it. With the oracle destroyed, Joe had no idea how, or even if, a palm reading would help him locate or open the door through the labyrinth. Yet he had to convince her to help. With no medicine and pursued by the wild hunt, time was priceless right now. He couldn't spend days wandering around the city of New Orleans waiting to fall ill or into Damfino's jaws. He had to be honest and convince the girl to aid him, and he had to do it quickly.